want to talk about Mo Salah going to the Saudi League. I've got a clip of the Al Khaloud owner Ben Harburg saying that Salah's not fit for the Saudi Pro League because of his behaviour this week at Liverpool. Have a listen.
As an owner, I don't like it. Obviously, you don't like a player to throw his teammates, coaches, administrators under the bus. And obviously, it's been a tough season for him, but he was paid his bag and he's underperformed this season. He has a great history. We don't, as owners, put players on the pitch because of past performance. We put them on for current form. And it's tough as an owner, a club administrator to see comments like that. We specifically look for players from abroad that are kind of around 25 or younger, ideally, folks that are not at the end of their career, but at the middle or beginning even, that we can develop and then ultimately hopefully they get sold on to bigger, higher spending clubs here in our league or across the world. And I think we have players today that ultimately can make their way back to Europe, the United States, elsewhere. That's what we want to be. We don't want to be that terminal destination, at least as my club.
Call me a cynic, Crookie, but if Al Khaloud were offered Mo Salah, I reckon they might take him.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're leading the race based on those comments. And I'm not sure that the Saudi deal makers, the Saudi Pro League, would necessarily go along with those comments. I think Mo Salah is their dream target. He has been for some time now, the greatest Muslim player ever, plying his trade in the Saudi Pro League, I think is the way that they want this to develop. I thought it would happen at the end of the season. It could well be accelerated now with obviously this public spat that Salah has taken on with the club and with Arne Slot. And I agree with what Danny Murphy said on the White and Jordan programme yesterday morning. I think the only way that Salah gets back in this Liverpool team, certainly before AFCON, is if he apologises to Arne Slot. I don't think he'll do that because this wasn't an off-the-cuff interview where he was just caught on the hop and maybe was emotional. It was a 6-minute rant. I think he planned what he wanted to say. It's very unusual for an unused substitute to stop and speak to media after a game. So I don't think he'll feature against Brighton this weekend. Then he goes off to AFCON to play for Egypt, and presumably his future will be sorted after that or during the tournament.
Have he apologised? How do you think? Should he do it? A next tweet should be in a photo in a gym with Arne Slot, spotting him at the bench press and say they're friends again, like that. I thought that it's funny, is it? Because the show I did on Sunday, the warm-up on Sunday, Cookie, I was far too sympathetic to Salah on Sunday. I was a bit like, I can understand. I find if I'm in Sunday League and I don't get on, I'm furious. He must be livid. But actually, I think his behaviour's been pretty pathetic. However brilliant a footballer he is, and the photo in the gym was like, come on, mate. This is a bit silly now, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's been a follow-up, hasn't there, of an empty park. So we'll try and work out exactly what he meant with that subliminal message. But
what was that one? This is exciting.
Yeah, I think I've seen one doing the rounds today. It's literally just a shot, I think, on Salah's Instagram of an empty park, trees in the distance. So you can read into that what you want. But he did recently, if I'm not mistaken, delete all reference of Liverpool from his social media. So this has been coming. I think you can see that obviously his frustration is boiling over. But the way I've always seen it is that if he thinks his form, not just this season, but even at the back end of last season when it tailed off, warrants a guaranteed starting place, then I think he's deluded. From what I'm told, Mo Salah is a great guy. He's popular with his teammates. It sounds to me like he's been badly advised, but this is all out war now, isn't it, with Arne Slot? And the best thing that could have happened, I think, for the Liverpool manager was getting that priceless win of the San Siro in midweek, because it means he doesn't have to contemplate changing the team this weekend. And I think in some ways it'll embolden him in the dressing room.
Just before we move on, when did he re-sign the contract? Was it last summer?
It was towards the back end of last season, wasn't it?
Yeah. They had their chance to let him go then, because they were when they offered like 70 million for him then.
That was a little bit previously, but I think the money from the Saudi Pro League has always stayed on the table, both in terms of wages for Mo Salah and the fact they're willing to pay a transfer fee. But I do sympathise with Liverpool, because can you imagine with the season that he had last year, if Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes, the two overlords at Anfield, turned around and said, you know what, Mo, thank you for winning us the Premier League title. You're the Premier League Player of the Year, but you're a little bit old now. We're going to let you go. The fans would have been in an uproar. I think the reaction to what Mo Salah did after the Leeds game actually is turning more Liverpool fans on the side of the hierarchy than it is on their star player.
The fascinating thing is there's no time, reputation counts for nothing, right? If you're not playing well, you're not playing well.
If your legs go, the legs go.
Yeah, and he's only been on the bench for like 2.5 games. Like, I think I'd love to see him stay for a bit and say, actually, do you know what? I was a bit out of order. I shouldn't have talked to the Norwegians. It's just there's something about the Norwegian guy, and that's it. And let's all be friends again. But I think you're right. It could be done. And if it is, it's okay. The world will keep spinning.
Maybe he's doing Norwegian Duolingo, and he's like, this is my chance to practice it.
Yes. Was it in fluent? It was in fluent Norwegian. It was the whole 7 minutes. Anyway, where should we go next?
Let's talk about Liam Rosenior, shall we? Yeah.
What's happening to him, Crookie?
Yeah, Liam Rosenior. I saw Strasbourg earlier in the season against Palace in the Conference League and was quite impressed with their performance. They've got a lot of young players there, which sort of fits in with the Blue Cone model. They're the owners of both Chelsea and Strasbourg. There was interest in Liam Rosenior in the summer from the likes of Southampton and Leicester. I don't think he was particularly keen to leave Ligue 1 over in France and drop into the Championship. But if he keeps doing as well as he is, there is going to be interest from the Premier League. His old club Fulham have been mentioned to me as potential suitors, depending on what happens with Marco Silva. So I think Chelsea could face a bit of a battle to keep him as part of their system. It has been mentioned that maybe he could be the long-term successor for Enzo Maresca, but the impression I get is that he's not going anywhere, Maresca, in a hurry. And as much as Chelsea see Rosenior as someone who could manage in the Premier League, it would be a big step up from Strasbourg straight away to go and take charge of Chelsea. So maybe a sort of middling Premier League club might be a better option. So certainly I think when these jobs become available, Glasner could leave Palace, Iriola could leave Bournemouth. I would expect Liam Rosenior to be right at the front of a lot of clubs thinking.
I'm a huge fan of his. I think he speaks so brilliant about the game, and I think whoever gets him would be pretty lucky. What about West Ham?
Hull had him and got rid of him and let go of him. That seems a really strange decision now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I've got to know the Hull owner.
Okay, aren't they?
Achunali Kali quite well, and obviously it didn't work out too well for them last season, getting rid of Rosenior, having only missed out on the playoffs on the previous day of Rosenior's season in charge. But they're there or thereabouts now. I think he felt that Rosenior had been given the tools to at least get a playoff place, and that didn't happen, and that's why there was a parting of the ways. But Achun tells me that he still rates Liam Rosenior as a coach. He just felt it was the right time to move in a different direction.
West Ham want to sign Promise David, one of the best names in football at the moment.
Promise David.
Yeah, they call him the mini Lukaku, Promise David, because he's a 6'5", I think. Obviously, a bit of an old-fashioned target man type striker. He scored a lot of goals for Union Saint-Galois. That's the club that Tony Bloom at Brighton has an interest in Belgium. They've done really well in the Belgium League and got themselves in the Champions League this season. I don't think this deal is going to happen because I think there are bigger clubs who are looking at Promise David. No relation to Jonathan David, by the way, even though they're both Canadian internationals. I think if he does leave, it will be for a bigger club playing in Europe. And this is a problem for West Ham because they're short of goals. Nicholas Füllkrug is going to be allowed to move on. Can you rely on Callum Wilson to stay fit for the whole season based on recent campaigns? Probably not. So they need to get someone in. But as I say, I think this one at the moment looks unlikely. And
Yves Bissouma to leave Spurs, this would be no surprise.
No, it wouldn't. Hasn't kicked a ball yet for Thomas Frank. Obviously, he was dropped for the Super Cup at the start of the season because he turned up late for training. We've had this incident that Spurs are looking into, footage emerging in a newspaper at the weekend of Bissouma allegedly inhaling laughing gas. That's not the first time he's been caught doing that. So I think Tottenham are just deciding now the time is right for a parting of the ways. He nearly went to Galatasaray in the summer transfer window. That broke down at the 11th hour. So I think they'd still be interested. And again, maybe clubs like Fulham and West Ham who are in need of reinforcements, they might look at this deal as well. But yeah, I think his days at Spurs are numbered.
Lovely stuff, Crookie. Thanks, pal.
Thanks, Crookie.
Thanks, guys.